Welcome casual Magic fans, you have come to this place to see some tribes battle it out in our gauntlet. Last time we saw cats versus sea monsters. If you haven't seen this match, it was a blast. Check it out here in the link above. Now this time we are going to see birds versus spiders. These are the restrictions: a $50 maximum for the budget. Maximum 6 mythics in the deck. No more than 3 playsets of 1 card, because we like diversity. And all legendary cards are of course restricted. Now let's look at the decks first. What are we going to see? Birds. A nice curve, a lot of creatures, a lot of flyers, and some nice interactions with the Soulcatchers Aerie. But their opponent is going to be very difficult, because we all know spiders, they have reach and they like to catch things that are up in the air. This deck plays a lot of spiders for defense and also a graveyard team with Nyx Weaver, Rot Widow Pack and of course Ishkana the Graph Widow to finish out the games. Now let's see who of the two tribes will advance to play cats in the semi-finals. And the birds have won the toss. So let's look at the hands first. So I already see 2 lands, a Squadron Hawk, a Warden of the Evil's Isle. And the birds are going to start with a land, followed up by the spiders, forest and traveler's amulet. So no real mana problems. There's the Squadron Hawk. And we're going to look for a few brothers of the Squadron Hawk. 2 brothers and 1 brother will remain in the library. Meanwhile, fast play is going on. A Recluse Spider, and this one is going to be annoying, because it is one of the many reach spiders that has Death Touch. Now here is the Warden of the Evil's Isle. Makes all our birds cheaper. And this is the Nyx Weaver, a very important card for the graveyard shenanigans of the spider player. No attacks. And we could have guessed that the spider player is going to play it very defensively. Soulcatchers the draw. It's going to be a High Sentinels of Arashin. And then back to the spiders. Some cards go into the graveyard, and a Grave Robber Spider. The one that works very well with a lot of creatures. There's only 1 creature in the graveyard yet, and still no attacks. Back to the birds. Wind Brisk Raptor, a very big bird, but no mana. Luckily, the Warden of the Evil's Isle is there. And there's the Nimble Obstructionist for 2 mana. And then a Soulcatcher. Now a lot of birds, but very difficult to attack, especially with the Deadly Recluse. Oh, there is land number 5, and that will be enough for the Silklash Spider to hit the battlefield. This could be deadly for the birds. Such a strong card against flyers. And I don't see a lot of answers. This could be an answer in Azorius Charm. So let's see what's going to happen. A full-scale attack from the birds. So High Sentinels are blocked. The Nimble Obstructionist is blocked. And also the Soulcatcher. And that means a great play for the birds player, because here is the Azorius Charm, putting a blocked creature on top of the library, and then of course damage will be dealt. The birds will have a lot of destroyed birds with the Death Touch. But now the Nyx Weaver is going to put the Silklash Spider into the graveyard. What a brilliant play of the birds. The most dangerous threat is removed. Now the Grave Robber Spider is getting stronger and stronger, of course. And it's going to attack, and that will be a +5/+5. So it's going to be 7/9, and the Birds player is just going to take the damage. No blockers there. And then Traveler's Amulet is being sacrificed for a land. Meanwhile, a land finally for the Birds. No white mana though. So really a very interesting game. Very difficult for the Birds player. But now, let's see. Imperial Eagle and an attack from the Nimble Obstructionist, leaving the Squadron Hawk behind for defense against the Grave Robber Spider. Good play, I think. So Nyx Weaver is putting some cards in the graveyard. A forest is drawn. And a big Grave Robber Spider is entering the battlefield. So it's going to be a block by the Squadron Hawk. And another Nyx Weaver. So we are going to put 4 cards in the graveyard. Maybe. Here is a farm. That means destroy attacking or blocking creature. Could be a way out for the Birds. But still only on 4 mana. With single white. It's not an easy position to be in for the Birds. And passes the turn. At the end of the turn, Nyx Weaver is going to be exiled. And the Silklash Spider is going to return. And that's bad news for the Birds. Some cards are going to the graveyard, of course. And an attack for the Grave Robber Spider. Nimble Obstructionist is going to block, and because it's a 4/2, the Grave Robber Spider needs to boost, because otherwise it will die as well. So 4 mana into the Grave Robber Spider and pass the turn. A land finally, a white land, but then the Silklash Spider is looming, is coming. And there is the Squadron Hawk. Last Squadron Hawk is found. So now we go back to the spiders. So first cards into the graveyard and then scout the borders is the draw. I see a Putrefy. An attack from the Grave Robber Spider. A block from the Squadron Hawk. The bird dies. And then a Rot Widow Pack. And this is a very strong card, especially with a lot of spiders in the graveyard. Because for 5 mana, it can damage the opponent without attacking. Meanwhile, Augury Owl is the draw for the Birds. There is another Squadron Hawk, but no more Squadron Hawks in the library. And what will be now the next play from the spiders? I see a Nyx Weaver being exiled for a Putrefy to come back in the hand. And that will probably to kill the Imperial Eagle. Yes, that will happen. And then an attack follows. And that will be 4 damage. There is another land finally. 6 lands for the Birds. Still playing it very cautious. Because we know what's going to happen. The draw is Traverse the Ulvenwald. That's going to be played, but wait. This is a surprise. Because Traverse the Ulvenwald has you search your library. But the Aven Mind Sensor would only allow the spider player to look at the top 4 cards. So only a Twin Silk Spider, no Ishkana or Arasta. Meanwhile, we have the Silklash Spider entering the battlefield. And let's see what the bird player can do. First the Squadron Hawk. Here's an owl to scry for 3. I see an Airborne Aid and a Warden of the Evil's Isle. It's Going to be first the Airborne Aid, first the creature, and then the Warden. And we go back to the spiders now. Yeah, with the Silklash Spider, it's a problem. There is a Renowned Weaver for the draw. And the Silklash Spider is now going to deal 1 damage to all the birds. And then attack for 6. And that will be lethal. But there's still going to be a farm on the Grave Robber. So birds going to 1 without any creatures now. And I think there's a Renowned Weaver played. I think it's going to be no way out. The Warden of the Evil's Isle will not be any help. No cards in the graveyard. We know what that is.
Game over.
Here is the Windbrisk Raptor, but it's going to be too late. Rot Widow Pack will be enough. There's a spider coming. And enough damage to kill the bird player. It was a difficult matchup from the start. And the birds were no match in the end for the reach of the spiders. And especially the Silklash Spider, proven to be too powerful. Hope to see you next time as well for a new match. And that will be between Wolves and Eldrazi. Don't forget to leave a comment who you think is going to win the tournament. And of course, you can already check out the deck list for the next matches.